What is up, guys? No alternative paper review from me right now for today, mostly because it's the weekend and it's very difficult for me to get out. Like, normally I drop my son off at school, and then between school and the childminder, I have just enough time to do the paper review for you. But on the weekend, obviously, that's a bit different. But also, I've been awake all night. Like, my little one, the 3-year-old, has caught some sort of gastro, like... I was supposed to be on Labour Social last night at 9 o'clock, and I was just getting ready to log on at 5 to 9, and then I get this text through from my girlfriend saying, like, she's just been sick everywhere again, which is weird because, like, the night before she blew chunks, she became a vomitron, and then she was fine all day yesterday, and then last night put her down to bed again, and then she woke up like the Exorcist. So that was one thing, and then I managed to get it settled, and then a few hours later I woke up and I was like, bleh. So it was an eventful night in the Thompson household, and frankly I don't look particularly good either. But one thing I wanted to talk about this morning was this Prince Harry media trial that happened yesterday. So for the benefit, just super quickly, of those who are not totally across this, Prince Harry is suing a collection of newspapers. The big ones are the Daily Mirror, or Mirror Group, who owned the Daily Mirror, the Sunday Mirror, and the People. The Mirror was edited by Piers at that time, and you will be aware that Piers is a vociferous critic of both Harry and Meghan. Anyway, Prince Harry has always maintained that he felt his phone was hacked. The Mirror Group have always said, there's no evidence that your phone was hacked. Nobody's hacking. Like, get this idea out of your head. Anyway, the High Court ruled yesterday that it did happen, that lawyers, that executives, that editors, that journalists, everyone knew this was happening. Now, to date, phone hacking has been something that has only really bled into the News International, News Corp, Rupert Murdoch kind of discussions. What this does is it expands that out. And he's won the case, which means that Mirror Group are now going to have to pay, I think it's court fees and then a very modest settlement. But really what it does is it draws a line in the sand. It says, this is not okay. This is not journalism. This is vendetta campaigning against a particular target. Like, they don't like Harry, they don't like Meghan, and so they go after them. I think it's a really interesting case. I think it's probably one of the best examples that you could see or wish for press regulation in the UK, because here you've got this landmark case, and you could guarantee if it went the other way, the coverage this morning would be across all of those tabloids, such is their desire to always embarrass Harry and or Meghan. And the fact that they lost it, this case is nowhere to be seen. It's not on the front cover of the Mirror, primarily. And you would hope that a part of that ruling, that finding, would be like, you have to put something on page 1, apologising and acknowledging what you did. But it's not on the front cover of the Mirror. There's no mention of them on the Express, who always talk about Harry and Meghan. Nothing on the Sun. The only paper that's carrying it is the Guardian. And I think that's really interesting, isn't it? Because it shows you the reverse of this vendetta. Like, when they want to go after somebody, they will absolutely plaster them all over the front pages and just decimate the public's perception of that person. But when they want it to be quiet, when they don't want you focusing on the developments within that person's life and legal proceedings, it's completely absent. So yeah, I don't know. Look, I think it's a very interesting case. I think it's very funny that Piers has released that statement. I don't know if you've caught it yet. It's all over Twitter. Him stood outside his house with his prepared, lawyered up statement. Now, the accusation toward him is that he knew about it, that he was fine with phone hacking, that he benefited from it. His response, his statement is, well, I've never hacked a phone. He's like, nobody's ever proved that I've hacked a phone. I'm not a phone hacker. And I think that's really interesting as well, because it says, I mean, firstly, what it says is, like, look, he's trying to go out there and then recapture his narrative, or whatever that phrase is, but he's not answering the question. The court's question was, did these people know about phone hacking, and have they benefited from it? And what he is answering is, I personally have never hacked a phone. which nobody said that you did. That is a different thing. So I think that's really interesting, and it's going to be more interesting and more amusing to see what the repercussions are for Piers Morgan. Because look, as I said yesterday on the tweet, I was like, who would have ever guessed it, that a lying sack of shit like Piers Morgan, that it turned out he was lying again and is still lying, or at least, obfuscating, and Prince Harry was telling the truth. And I said this, I think, on yesterday's TikTok, yesterday's alternative paper review. Look, I don't have a dog in the race. I don't really care for Harry and Meghan. They seem okay to me, but I'm not like a rabid fan of theirs, or indeed of any of the royals, and certainly not of the tabloids and tabloid culture. But I do think it's really funny when somebody like Piers Morgan gets taken down a few pegs, I'm allowing myself some amusement in that development. Anyway, what do you guys think? Do you think this could be a sort of beginning, like the winds of change are finally turning on tabloid culture? Or do you think Mirror Group will just write him a check, draw a line? Well, we got caught that time. Anyway, back to this. Which way do you think it's going to go? As always, let me know in the comments below. I'm out. Realistically, to go back to the toilet.